You just translate documents all day, my sister Veronica said, swirling her wine dismissively. Anyone with Google Translate could do your job. The entire table laughed. That Veronica's husband, Blake. Even my 16-year-old niece, Addison. Across from me, my daughter Maya stared down at her plate, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. What none of them knew was that my boring translator job required top-secret security clearance, and that the phone vibrating in my pocket was a priority alpha alert from the Department of Defense. Dad's 65th birthday dinner was at Marchette's, the upscale Italian restaurant where our family had celebrated milestones for 3 decades. White tablecloths. Candlelight. A private room that cost more than my monthly car payment. Veronica had organized everything. Naturally. She organized everything. Charity galas, political fundraisers, her husband's Senate campaign. She was the successful daughter, the one who'd married power and wielded it like a weapon. I was just Natalie. The quiet one. The one who studied linguistics instead of law. The one who divorced young and raised a daughter alone. The one with the boring government job nobody understood. Seriously, Nat, Veronica continued. When are you going to do something meaningful with your life? You're 43. Maya's almost grown. What's your excuse? I like my work, I said quietly. Translating for who? Blake smirked. The DMV? He chuckled at his own joke. I mean, sure, someone needs forms converted to Spanish, but is that really a career? It's more complicated than that. Is it, though? Mom tilted her head. I've always worried about you, Natalie. You had so much potential. You speak, what is it, 7 languages. And you use them to shuffle papers. 6 languages, I corrected. And I don't shuffle papers. Then what exactly do you do? Veronica pressed. Because every time I ask, you give some vague non-answer. Government contractor. Federal work. What does that even mean? My phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen beneath the table. Priority alpha. Immediate response required. Linguistic asset in T7. Report for briefing. Escort en route to your location. My heart rate spiked. In 11 years with the agency, I'd received only 3 priority alpha calls. The last one involved a hostage situation in Yemen. Natalie, are you even listening? Veronica snapped. I need to step outside for a moment. We're in the middle of Dad's birthday dinner, Mom said sharply. Whatever it is can wait. It really can't. I excused myself and walked into the lobby. Through the front windows I saw 2 black SUVs pulling into the parking lot. 3 men in suits stepped out of the first vehicle. I recognized Colonel David Reeves immediately. We'd worked together during the Syria crisis. His presence meant this was serious. Miss Hartley, he said, approaching with crisp efficiency. We need you at the Pentagon within the hour. A situation has developed that requires your specific expertise. What kind of situation? Intercepted communications. Multiple languages, including 2 dialects we believe only 3 people in the country can accurately translate. You're one of them. And the other 2? One is hospitalized. The other is compromised. You're it. I thought of Maya sitting at the table listening to her aunt mock her mother. Of Dad's birthday cake that hadn't been served yet. Of the look on Veronica's face when she realized Google Translate couldn't do what I did. I need to say goodbye to my family. You have 3 minutes. I walked back into the private dining room. Everyone looked up. I have to leave. Leave. Mom's voice was incredulous. It's your father's birthday. I know. I'm sorry. An emergency came up at work. Veronica rolled her eyes. What kind of emergency could a translator possibly have? Did someone misuse a semicolon? Something like that. The door opened. Colonel Reeves stepped in, flanked by 2 armed escorts. Miss Hartley, he said calmly, the vehicle is ready. Every head at the table snapped toward him. Blake's wine glass froze halfway to his mouth. Veronica's smug expression collapsed into confusion. Natalie, Dad said slowly, what's going on? You said work emergency, but is that military? I'll explain later, Dad. Happy birthday. I love you. I kissed his cheek, then turned to Maya. Her eyes were wide, not with embarrassment anymore but something closer to awe. Maya, Aunt Veronica will drive you home. I'll call when I can. Mom whispered, Are you some kind of spy? I smiled. I'm a translator. Just like Veronica said. Colonel Reeves cleared his throat. Ma'am, time. I walked out flanked by military escorts, leaving my family frozen in stunned silence. The last thing I heard was Veronica's voice. What the hell just happened? The SUV ride to Andrews Air Force Base took 20 minutes. A military helicopter took another 40. By 9 p.m. I was 3 levels beneath the Pentagon, staring at intercepted communications that made my blood run cold. 4 hours ago, Colonel Reeves said, we intercepted encrypted messages between cells in 3 countries. Our tech team broke the encryption. The problem is the content. He pointed to the screen. Arabic, Farsi, and a regional dialect from the Afghanistan-Pakistan border we've only encountered twice. Waziri, I said, scanning the text. But it's mixed with code phrases. They're using a linguistic cipher. Can you break it? I can try. For the next 6 hours I worked. No dinner. No coffee breaks. Just me, the transcripts, and the knowledge that lives depended on getting this right. The cipher was elegant. Numbers embedded in word patterns. Verb conjugations marking dates. A poetic structure from an obscure 13th century text masking locations. It would have taken most analysts weeks. I solved it in 5 hours and 47 minutes. They're planning a coordinated attack, I said, at 3 a.m. 3 locations. Simultaneous execution. The timeline is embedded in verb tense. The poetic form marks time through seasonal references. We have approximately 31 hours. Can you identify the targets? I'm working on it. I pointed to a line on the screen. This phrase, it's from a Waziri folk song about places where eagles gather. In context, they're indicating buildings. High rises, Reeves said quietly. I nodded. And somewhere across town my sister was probably still trying to figure out how a boring translator ended up saving lives. The specific verses they chose narrow it down to financial centers. How confident are you in this analysis? Confident enough to stake my career on it. Colonel Reeves nodded. Then we act. I stayed through the night, refining the analysis, answering questions, coordinating with teams across 3 continents. By noon the next day, operations had disrupted all 3 cells. No attack occurred. No lives were lost. At 2 p.m. Colonel Reeves found me slumped in a chair, exhausted but wired. You did good work, Hartley. Exceptional work. Just doing my job. Your boring translator job, he said with a slight smile, as I understand your family calls it. For what it's worth, the Secretary of Defense asked me to convey his personal thanks. The President has been briefed on your contribution. This was a significant threat. Your analysis prevented what could have been catastrophic. I thought of Veronica's sneer, Mom's disappointment, Blake's DMV jokes. Can I go home now? Car's waiting, Reeves said. The drive back to suburban Virginia took 2 hours. It was nearly 5 p.m. when I stepped through the front door. Maya was on the couch, having skipped school to wait for me. Mom, she launched herself at me. Are you okay? What happened? Aunt Veronica's been calling all day, she's freaking out. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just tired. Was it something dangerous? It was something important, I said. He pulled back, grinning. I always knew you weren't just a regular translator. The way you'd get calls at weird hours, disappear without explaining. I figured it was something cool. You never said anything and neither did I. I figured if you wanted me to know, you'd tell me. I hugged her tighter. My brilliant, perceptive daughter, who had spent years listening to her aunt's mockery without ever doubting her mother. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you more. The work I do is classified. I know. It's okay, Mom. I don't need details. I just need to know you're safe. I'm safe. The doorbell rang. Maya went to answer it and returned, trying to hide her amusement. It's Aunt Veronica. She looks upset. I took a breath. Let her in. Veronica swept into the living room like she owned it. Designer clothes, perfect makeup, the confidence of someone never told no. But today something was different. Her eyes were uncertain. Her usual smirk was gone. Natalie, thank God, she said, finally hugging me. First time in years. I've been calling all day. What happened last night? Who were those men? Are you in trouble? I'm not in trouble. Then what? Because I've been going crazy. Blake made calls, he's on the Senate Armed Services Committee, And everyone he talked to just said classified, and hung up. Classified, for a translator. Sit down, Veronica. She did, remarkable in itself. I can't tell you everything. Most of what I do is compartmentalized. But I can tell you I work for a federal agency handling sensitive intelligence. My language skills decode communications that impact national security. Last night I helped prevent a terrorist attack. I can't say more than that. Veronica's mouth opened, closed, then opened again. You're serious? Completely. But I never said anything all these years because I couldn't. And every time I tried to hint that my work was more than shuffling papers, you, Mom, and everyone else talked over me. It was easier to let you believe what you wanted. Yes. We made fun of you at Dad's birthday in front of Maya. While you were about to go save lives or whatever. Veronica was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it. I'm sorry. I know. I've been terrible for years. I thought because I married well and you struggled, that somehow made me better. You married a senator. I chose a different path. Neither one is better. Just different. How can you be so calm about this? I've been awful. You're my sister. I've known who you are my whole life. I stopped expecting you to change a long time ago. I just hoped that someday you'd see me for who I am, not who you assumed I was. I see you now. Do you? She looked around my modest living room. The books in 6 languages, the diplomas she'd never read, the photos of Maya. A life she'd dismissed without examining. You have a PhD in linguistics, she said, noticing the frame for the first time. From Georgetown. I do. And I speak 6 languages fluently. I can read 2 more. And you work for who exactly? I can't tell you that, but it's important. What I do matters. To me, to the people I help protect. Whether it matters to you is something you'll have to decide. Maya stepped into the room, having listened from the doorway. Mom saved lives last night, Aunt Veronica. Real lives. He does it all the time. Just because she doesn't brag like you brag about your galas doesn't mean it's not important. Maya, I started. No, Mom. I'm tired of watching them treat you like you're nothing. You're not nothing. You're a hero. You're my hero. Veronica's eyes filled with tears, actual tears. I hadn't seen her cry since we were children. She's right, Veronica whispered. You are a hero and I've been so blind. She gathered herself. I'm going to tell Mom and Dad, not the classified parts, just that your work is important. That they should be proud of you. That we should all be proud. You don't have to. Yes, I do. It's 43 years overdue. She hugged me again, awkward, unpracticed but genuine. I'm sorry, Natalie. For all of it. I know. Thank you. After she left, Maya and I sat on the couch together. That was intense, Mia said. That was family. Do you think she'll actually change? I think she'll try. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. Mom, I want to learn languages like you. I want to do something that matters. I pulled her close. You already matter, sweetheart. Everything else is just details. Outside, the sun set on an ordinary suburban street. Inside, a mother and daughter sat together in the quiet of a home that held more secrets than it showed. My sister had laughed at my boring translator job. The Pentagon had called mid-dinner. Somewhere, 3 attacks hadn't happened. 3 buildings still stood. 3 cities didn't mourn. Anyone with Google Translate could translate, but not anyone could do what I did. And finally, my family was beginning to understand.